Greetings, everyone, and welcome to your AP Research Presentation and Oral Defense Training for Judges. I really want to thank all of you for agreeing to participate in this process. I could not do this without you. Let's get started. So I wanted to give everyone some background about the course and how we got to this portion of the course and why it is important that you are judging. First, AP Research is the final course in the AP Capstone program. The AP Capstone program consists of two classes, AP Seminar, which students take in the 11th grade, and AP Research, which they complete in the 12th grade. For AP Research, they complete a year-long student-selected research inquiry that will culminate in number 2 on the screen, a 4,000 to 5,000 word academic essay to be graded by the College Board. The essay is worth 75% of their AP score. Secondly, they will complete presentations followed by an oral defense, which are graded by me as their teacher of record. The presentation and oral defense responses are worth 25% of their score. What you will hear when you judge are specifics of the student's research inquiry and how that inquiry evolved into a 4,000 to 5,000 word essay. Next, the AP Research course, in particular, the two assignments I just described, fulfills the School Without Walls graduation requirement. So in addition to submitting their academic essay and presentations to College Board for an AP score, these two assignments will also count toward their School Without Walls graduation requirements. Let's get into more details. The presentation and defense process takes between 15 and 20 minutes long. The College Board requires a hard stop at 20 minutes. We will use a timer and give students time warnings. I have informed the students about the hard time limit, and they have been using those time guidelines during practice presentations. I have advised students to stop their presentation a little bit before 15 minutes to ensure that the judges can ask the defense questions and students can answer effectively. By the way, all students have been required to complete at least one practice presentation in front of me and the other members of their AP Research class. There will be a panel of 3 judges made up of School Without Walls teachers and outside guests. Thanks to all of you for volunteering. School Without Walls administration may join us for a few presentations, and students are also allowed to invite guests, such as family members or their expert advisors, to view their presentations as well. One detail for you to know is that College Board requires that I record all presentations. The focus of the camera will be on the students only, for I may have to upload videos to the College Board website later. If for any reason we have to transition to Microsoft Teams, judges will be on screen with the student. Additionally, as the teacher of record, I will be the only judge using the official AP Research Performance Task rubric, presentation and oral defense. Students will not be allowed to see my score that I must submit to College Board. I will have a different rubric than the rest of the panelists, but in this video, I will talk about ways that my rubric is similar to yours. While I am using the College Board rubric, all other panelists will be using a modified version of the School Without Walls Senior Project rubric. Hopefully all will pass on the first try, but if anyone fails the presentation with the School Without Walls rubric, they will be allowed to present again for a passing grade. I will share each student's average score from the School Without Walls rubrics. No one will know the individual scores you assigned. Also, the comments I pass along to the students will be anonymous. Additionally, for the defense portion of the process, students are allowed to see the defense questions in advance. In fact, they have had the questions since January of this year, and they have had an opportunity to practice their responses. Defense questions are divided into 3 different categories. They are approximately 4 questions per category. A, the research inquiry process. B, depth of understanding. And C, reflection through the inquiry process. The panel will ask 3 questions, 1 in each of the above categories. Before each presentation, We, meaning the panel, will divide which judge will ask which question. Once again, the College Board requires that students receive the questions in advance, so all students will be familiar with the questions and should have reflected on their answers before the date of their presentation. The final part of this video is the breakdown of the School Without Walls panelist rubric. This is the rubric you will be using during the presentations. The questions will be in the same order that you see on the screen. I have reviewed this document with the AP Research students multiple times, and I wanted to give you an overview of how the statements of the documents connected to the College Board rubric I will be using. As you can see, Part 1, the establishment of research design, argument, and reflection, makes up the largest part of the rubric and is worth the most at 60%. Let's talk about the similarities between the College Board rubric and the School Without Walls rubric that you see on the screen. First, each line is worth 1 point. Students either earn the point or they don't. We are not going to give them half credit for any of the statements. They must complete everything in the statement to earn the point. I will give an example in one moment. Statements 1, 2, and 3 are similar to statements like those on the College Board rubric. The way College Board describes this group of statements is, are they establishing the big picture of their research inquiry? Have they stated their research goal, established a gap in any existing studies which justify their particular study of inquiry, and have they presented their method and justification? Again, these questions are about the big picture of their work. I mentioned a moment ago that the students must address every part of the statement. One example is with Statement 3 regarding the method. Simply stating the method is important. However, the student only earns the point if they state both the method and justify their use of that method. Please keep that in mind. One note. Please note that students are not required to present this information in a specific order, so some of the details listed on the rubric may appear in a different order in their presentation. If they address the required element on the rubric in the allotted time, they are allowed to earn that point. Second, as for statements 4 through 8, College Board describes these as the so what of their research inquiry. Can you see a logical line of reasoning in their evidence? Are they supporting their claims? Do they use analysis to draw conclusions? And have they explained the consequences of their conclusions? The last statement relates to how they got from point A to point B in their research. Did you, as a judge, learn about the student's process from their research inquiry to their conclusion? Is a critical part of this process. The second part of the rubric deals with engagement and is worth 20% of their presentation score. As you can see, these are typical elements that relate to their visuals and design of the presentation. Are the images appropriate to the claims they are making? Are students speaking clearly and effectively, avoiding filler? Are they expressing confidence in their topic and knowledge? Are they maintaining eye contact and not reading off notes or the screen? Did they express enthusiastic and dynamic body language, tone, and speech? And are they dressed professionally? The College Board calls this audience-centered delivery and design. The third part of the rubric is about their defense responses and is also worth about 20% of their presentation score. For this section, the narrative that you see on the rubric is taken word for word from the College Board. I wanted to make sure that there was ease of connection for the skills that students had to present to me on the College Board rubric with the School Without Walls rubric. So the three portions are about whether their answers provide a rationale for their decisions. Did the student defend? To be specific. Next, did the student's oral defense provide specific detail to address the question posed and describe the relationship of those details to a new understanding? In other words, did the student defend what was discovered? The oral defense provides an explanation of how the process or project in the context of the question posed is significant for the student's own understanding, self-awareness, or personal learning. In other words, did the student reflect on the choices that they made with detail? One important note, the presentation and the defense are two separate parts of the score that they will receive. A student's response in one section cannot count as a response in another section. For example, if a student responds to a defense question with information that they did not mention during the presentation, as a judge, you cannot go back and give them credit for the comment in the presentation section. The final part of the rubric is required, but there are no points associated with this section. It's the comments. A reminder that according to the College Board, I, as their teacher of record, cannot give students direct feedback on their presentations, what I thought of them, or what score they received from me. As a result, they will rely on your collective comments and feedback. Please indicate what the students did well. Also, if you're noticing that the score seems to indicate a lower or failing grade, please indicate what parts of the rubric you think the students could have worked on to improve. If anyone does fail, which I'm hoping that they don't, I can go back with the student and review the comment given. Once more, the comments will be anonymous, but I will be able to give more detail about what the panelists said. That's it for the background of the course, presentation, and how to navigate the School Without Walls rubric. I hope that all of you were able to understand everything, and you will receive a hard copy of this rubric in person on the day that you judge. Thank you so much for taking the time to go through this presentation with me. If any of you have questions, please email me.